Ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen and ladies, girls and boys, boys and girls, welcome back to our channel, Inspirational Minutes with David, the Fly Optician. Hit the subscribe button right now. I was told that in order to make it, help your channel, our channel to grow, that you need to start telling people right off the jump to hit the subscribe button. So hit the subscribe button and the bell notifications as well. Got a great topic today. A great topic. And we're going to get right into it. Inspiration Minutes with David. We're going to jump right into it. The title of our talk today is entitled To Pay Attention. It's entitled Pay Attention. The Spirit of 1984. Pay attention in the spirit of 1984. In 1984, I was a junior in high school. Oh, I'm telling my age a little bit. I was a junior in high school. Wrong thing. I was a junior in high school. and I read this book, George Orwell, 1984. We had to do it in an English class for like a writing assignment. And so, at that time, I didn't know, I didn't know what the hell was going on at that time at 17 years old. I wasn't where I'm at now mentally, and that took many years and many experiences and many indoctrinations that had to be relearned and unlearned, and I should say unlearned and taken away out of my spirit. I didn't know. So pay attention. Pay attention to your surroundings. Pay attention to the news media. Pay attention to what's going on in the world today. I originally got this post. It's from I'm looking at it now. It's from this person on YouTube. Not YouTube, but on one of these little social medias. She be going deep. And so I got some of the writings and some of the sayings she was talking about. I'm looking for it now in my phone, but her name is True Mellow out of Canada, and she is the author of a lot of stuff I'm about to talk about today. But as I was reading her information and things that she was talking about, what she was talking about made sense. So today we're talking about to pay attention in the spirit of 1984. It's been long overdue. I should have made a video about this moons ago, but the spirit side of me, the universe, has been showing me the year of 1984, especially after I read the book again a few months ago. I read the book 1984 yet again and had a whole entire different understanding of it, and whole entire different overstanding of the book. I believe that it was not until now, with all the fake news media, and as I begin to consciously grow and know what's going on out there, I begin to delve deeper into my consciousness, into my spirit. The universe, make no mistakes, because we are the universe. There's a deep spiritual connection with what took place during the whole year of 1984 until today. Oh, wait. There is a deep spiritual connection, people, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to drop a bomb with that one as well. Started off, just drop bombs, starting off on this thing. It's a deep spiritual connection of the whole year that took place in 1984 till today. Now, we'll be touching on many of them today. And what I'll do, I'll highlight some of the things that she wrote, and I'm gonna put my input, what I believe, how I believe in it as well. Just follow me. I highlight the, and we'll talk about the title, because each topic gonna have a title to it, so that you can go back and research it as well. It might be a little long video. I'm sorry. It's been, the more information I get, the more I want you to know when I begin to know, if that makes sense. I want you to be cognizant of the things that I'm cognizant of. I want you to evolve as well as I am evolving. I'm evolving, family. And I need you to evolve as well. Just keep it out. Keep an eye out for all of the 2017s that I'm about to mention in this Inspirational Minutes with David. Okay? We'll talk about that as well. So, I believe the 1984, and that's when Prince was doing real good. Purple Rain came out in Did not Purple Rain come out in 1984? It's a symbolic marker, pre-say, with 1984 through 2024 being a 40-year period of preparation. Possibly, Shaitan's counterfeit to the Most High's 40 years. Remember, the number 40 is a very requisite number. It's a very requisite number, especially, in scripture, they say it's mentioned 146 times. The number 40 generally means, and it generally symbolize a period of waiting. You know what we say about wait, right? Of testing, of preparation, trial, or probation. It also worth noting that it takes 40 weeks of waiting to lead up to the birth of a baby. Yet you must go through the intense labor pains. You must go through intense labor pains toward the end. And we know that, the dark side is trying to birth their new order. The 1%, they're trying to birth their new order. Later in this video, we're going to talk about that as well. I'm going to show you the significance of the year of 2024. But first, let's go to the past. Oh, that busy year of 1984. I was a junior at that time. Let's see how spiritually connects to it, how that year connects spiritually to 2021 today, and what's coming for the, for the 2021, 2030 agenda, which is 21. Now, each summary topic that I talk about, I'm going to mark it with a then and now to show the connection that I see spiritually. Okay? Let's go. George Orwell's 1984. Okay, so George Orwell's 1984. Let's start off with the obvious. Almost everyone has heard of that book, 1984. We all have heard it. A lot of us have read it. And many believe that we're living in it right now. If you have not heard for some reason, here's a quick summary. 1984, published as 1984. It's a novel by English author George Orwell in 1949. A warning against totalitarianism. The Chilean diaspora made a deep impression on the readers. His ideas, in the mainstream culture and everywhere achieved by very few books. The book's title and many of its concepts, such as Big Brother, which we started using that term about 20 years ago, Big Brother, and the thought police, are instantly recognized and understood, often as bywords for modern social and political abusers. In the book, It's a Day in London. It's a day in April in London. The government's watching you all the time. You are not allowed to have close friends. You have to watch the government-funded television programs and attend pre-op rallies, like prep rallies. Remember that in school, prep rallies get you hyped up, get you motivated, get you crunk, as we say. They're filling your head with propaganda all the time. They call it news speak. The official language of the Oceania, that's the fictional town they were on, living in, a country they were living in at that time. It's a politically correct speech taken to its maximum extent. Newspeak is based on standard English, but all words describing unorthodox political ideals have been removed. In addition, there was an attempt to remove the overall number of words in general to limit the range of ideas that could be expressed. All words spoken, expressed or unexpressed. The awakening. Now let's go to now. Let's talk about right now. Sound like today? Does it really sound like we doing that today, or that's going on today? I think we can agree that Big Brother is doing more than just watching us. Oh, doing way more than that. We're seeing this totalitarianism movement intensify year after year after year, with all the politically correct talk, fake news, cancel culture, social media, restrictions, etc., the freedom of speech, censorship. This video might get taken off. I don't know. You know how they do it. They don't want the truth out there. They don't want the truth. And this means while most are all very well with the name Orwell. However, with these new restrictions and lockdowns this past year and a half, we're seeing this ramped up to become even more true today. With social distancing orders, mandatory face masks, contact tracing, talk or phone tracking, and you know what else? These passports and more. We know that facial recognition and social scoring is right around the corner for the whole world as well. Yeah, Japan's already doing it. It's coming. I talked about that in the last video. It's coming. Wake up. Pay attention. Now, take a look at the United States Today article from February 1st, 2017. There was entitled Orwell's 1984 surges to number one on United States or USA's Today's Books list. In 2017, but 1984 is all the rage in the year 2017. In the last week, the paperback publisher of 1984, Signet, has ordered to reprint additional 500,000 copies. According to the data report to USA Today's list, the print and digital editions are selling neck and neck. People want to know fiction is really true. To put the current demand in perspective, we're printing in 1 week more copies of 1984 than we sell in a typical year, says the Signet spokesman, Craig Burke. Wow. Okay. Listen. Wow. Golly. Wow. Wow. The bomb on that. Wow. 33 years later, huh? 33 years later. Two bombs. And it's 2017. Important. Remember, we're going to talk about that. So let's look at 1984 and it's coming, and how it's coming to pass. The first Apple Mac. The first Apple Mac computer, laptop computer. And the start of the Super Bowl commercials. Then the first Macintosh, it was Macintosh before it was Mac computers, was introduced on January 24th, 1984 by Steve Jobs, and the first commercially successful home computer. It was selling. It was something new. It was better than the TRS-80 Tandy Radio Shack computer that I was practicing on. Okay. It was the first commercially successful personal computer. Note, this is not the first Apple that sold for $666.66. It sold for $666. Oh wow. And 66 cents. I'm not even gonna drop nothing. No. It's crazy. 666.66. Most know the history of the first Apple. The Apple was the first Apple's product, the Apple I, demonstrated in April 1976 at the Homebrew Computer Club in Palo Alto, California. Okay? It went on sale in July 1976 at the price of $666.66. Wow. Wow. Now this is the Apple computer, the personal Apple computer. $666.66. Today we call these personal computers cell phones. We have phones now. We don't have the big, personal computers, that MacBook. We call them cell phones today. Whether Apple or Android. In everyone's hands. And those in power has been and will continue to use them to track, monitor, keep up with us daily. These personal computers, aka cell phones, are used to keep track of all payments and medical records and much, much, much more, people. Much more. Not to mention, they also sell our personal information. They have us to the point of feeling as though like we can't live without these personal computers. We can't live without these little personal computers in our hands by design, of course. The game is real. And as far as those Super Bowl commercials today, not only do they cost millions per minute to run, most of them are used to push their agenda. To push their agenda or their propaganda on us. On us. As well as the Super Bowl is now used for like dark rituals during their halftime shows. Look up 1984 Super Bowl commercial. The symbolism is very intriguing. You're going to wake up. You're going to wake up. Now let's talk about Terminator. They came out in 1984. Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Terminator, AI, and killer robots. Now this one is pretty crazy. This one is pretty insane. Wow. Yeah, the movie Terminator was released in 1984. Okay? Remember how the story goes? A cyborg Terminator, or Arnold Schwarzenegger, was sent back in time from 2029 to 1984. He was sent back in time from 2029 to 1984. It's all linking up now. Is it all making sense to you now? To kill Sarah Connor, who was played by Lisa Hamilton, because her son would be the leader in the post-apocalyptic future. They're trying to stop this AI, Skynet intelligence system. Okay? Now let's fast forward that to now. Pretty interesting. Pretty intriguing. Terminator was sent back from the year of 2029, right before Agenda 2030 agenda. So we have two connections here to talk about. Right now, we have so many AIs programs in place. So many of them in place. You know, there are tons of AI software like Google, AI, IBM, Watson, H2O, AI, Big ML, etc., etc., etc. There's a lot of AI programs out there. Now, when I think of Skynet, I can't think but help of Starlink. Okay, you know, you have to put this two and two together. So when I think of Skynet, I think of Starlink, because they had Skynet in the movie, but in reality today we have Starlink. Look it up. Look it up. Starlink is a satellite constellation constructed by SpaceX to provide a satellite interest assets. The constellation will consist of thousands of mass-produced small satellites in low Earth orbit, LEO, LEO, yeah, working in combination with ground transceivers. Now, SpaceX also plans to sell some of the satellites for military, scientific, or exploratory purposes. You know, you gotta get that money too. You know, you're just not gonna just have it not get no money out of it. You're gonna get some money out of it. Money in your soul. Ooh. It said that the Starlink is targeting service in the northern U.S. and Canada in 2020. Okay. Rapidly expanding their near global coverage of the populated world by 2021. Starlink.com. Check it out. Flight testing began in 2017 with two prototype satellites. Microsatella, spelled micro then sat, S-A-T dash L, or should I say 1A. Microsatella, or 1A. And microsat 1, the number 1B, small b. After communicating with ground stations, these experiments were followed by the network of 4,000, no, I'm saying the number wrong. I think it's 4,400 satellites, which began launching in 2019. This network reaches a full capacity by 2024. FutureTimeline.net. It's amazing. 2024 reaches full capacity, huh? Keep that in mind. And let's not forget this piece of news either. According to a report from the Daily Star, the GPT-3 is a language generation artificial intelligence AI model that generates text with minimum human input at a rapid rate and is being held by experts around the world. The AI is capable of recognizing and replicating patterns of words before predicting what will come next, thanks to its incredible power, containing 175 billion, with a B, billion language parameters. This has prompted Professor David Chambers of New York University, who is an expert in mind philosophy, to suggest that GPT-3 was showing signs of consciousness. Now, Remember, in the Terminator movie, that Skynet was an AI, artificial intelligence system that took over. Okay? It took over. So, when you think, it also shows signs of consciousness. Right? Now, what was also predicted program is that they were all headed as well. That they was all headed to have consciousness, to take over humans, to destroy humans, to destroy your soul. And of course, we have to mention the killer robots. They kill us. The killer robots, aka the Terminators, hence the movie Terminator. It's not a joke, but sometimes the truth is always in the joke. The Futurism website put an article on January 28th this year titled Congressional Panel. Please let us build killer robots. So it's really something that they've already been talking about. Tasked with deciding whether the United States military should be able to develop autonomous killer robots capable of using deadly force. A congressional advisory panel decided that the government should keep its options open. They should keep their options open. What my point? You better watch out, and you better pay attention to what's going on. Pay attention. I get hyped. People walk around with smartphones stuck on stupid. Okay, let's go next. I'll title this one. It's gonna be a little long. Might be the longest talk we had or done. The first woman VP. Then, okay, wow. 1984, a woman ran a major political party's presidential ticket for the first time ever. Oh, you don't remember? Look it up. Like I just said, you got smart devices, smart phones, smart computers, smart tablets, ubiquitously in your life today. Look it up. Look up the information. For the first time ever, a congressional woman from Queens, New York, Geraldine Ferraro, Ferraro. You remember? And the ones who were born after, look it up. This was in 1984. I remember. From the Democratic Party was the vice president. She was the vice presidential nominee. Yes, she was. I remember that. I just find that kind of, it's funny that the article, I find it pretty interesting. You don't find that interesting? I may even found an article titled Echoes of 1984 and Biden vice presidential choice. Let's focus now. Now we know our vice president, Kamala, the first female vice president ever. First successful, got voted a female vice president. One notch away from being the president. Pretty powerful. And she was a senator from the opposite side of the country, California, from 2017 to 2021. Now we have to make note of this very spiritual connection here. All right? Her official name is Kamala Devi Harris. Her mother chose those special names because Kamala means lotus flower and Sanskrit. And her middle name, Devi, translates to goddess. And Sanskrit, another tribute to the Hindu religion. Her name has power, what I'm trying to say. It's also stated in the biography, in the biography.com, that a culture that worship goddesses. Let me read this again. A culture that worships goddesses produces strong women, which goes right along with today's feminist culture. And if you have been, watching, paying attention, then you'll understand that the lotus flower plays a big part in this whole birthing, of the new world order that they have been creating the whole damn time. And of course, we've seen the image of Lisa Simpson, as the president in the Simpsons cartoon, dressed in purple and wearing pearls around her neck. Exactly what the VP was wearing her and not in her day that she was elected, inauguration day. The video clip was taken from an episode called Bart to the Future. Wow. Was aired back. That was first aired in March the 19th of 2000. I also know that the movie Back to the Future, because they call it Bart to the Future, Back to the Future, yes, it was released in 1985. And there are tons of connections to Donald Trump and Back to the Future Part 2 with Biff character. But we don't have time to get into that right now. I ain't going to talk about him right now. You just have to look that up yourself and use your conscious mind, use that third eye, and be conscious. Pay attention. Pay attention. Again, taking place today has a connection to the year of 1984. You just need spiritual eyes to see it, with lots more to cover. Remember that Wendy's commercial? Where's the beef? Where's the beef? The little old lady always talking about where's the beef? Then the younger crowd may not be familiar with this catchphrase or this catchphrase. Where's the beef? It was introduced in 1984 through Wendy's commercials all throughout the United States and Canada. It was Wendy's slogan to promote that their products offer more beef than the competitors. Then it became more of an all-purpose phase of praise to question the substance of the product. Like, is it beef or is it something else? Where's the beef? Now let's go to now. Over the last year, we've seen some fast food restaurants having to take their burgers off the menus from time to time due to meat shortages. We saw meat plants being closed due to the virus. As of late, they're claiming that the cyber attacks are shutting down meat plants as well. And the cost of meat is continuing to go through the roof. It's on the rise. However, I seriously see another spiritual connection to this today. With the big push for Beyond Meat, which is plant-based, the Wonder Burger, what they call it, the Beyond Beef, which is plant-based. They have one in Burger King, the Ultimate Burger, something like that. And the Memphis Meats lab-grown meat, funded by Billy Gates, and Richard Branson. See, these elites, about their paper. They're about their paper. They're about their paper. They're about their paper. They believe that eating meat is damaging to the earth. That eating meat is damaging to the freaking earth. They would love to ban meat eating altogether in the name of climate change if they could. The UN and the Pope France have both come out and stated that we all need to adopt to a more plant-based diet and reduce meat consumption, consumption to help save poor Mother Earth. So soon enough, we'll be saying like back in 1984, when meat is taken off the market, when beef is taken off the market. Where's the beef? Beyond Meat is at Pizza Hut, Burger King, KFC, etc., 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 and at your local grocery stores. At your local grocery stores near you. See, Billy just said in February that of this year that we need to get Americans eating synthetic beef. It's a key part of the climate action. And now KFC is going to be using 3D as in David, bioprinting for their chicken nuggets. It's called Meat of the Future. Meat of the Future. Now they also open to the idea of having us eat bugs for protein as well. Woo! These people going, they own it. And if you're thinking of just raising or growing your own meat, your own little animals, well, if you've been keeping up, pay attention to the date of what is taking place, then you know that there is a war on animal agriculture as well. They're going through that with the farmers. Another reason why Billy is now the United States biggest. He owned the United States biggest farmland owner. He's the biggest. Billy is the biggest. Let me say that again. Billy is the biggest United States farmland owner. I say it again. I'm gonna drop the bomb. Billy is now the United States biggest farmland owner. And that's something to think about. You see, the blueprint of the agenda of 2/1/2030 has been adhered by and followed completely. They are following their agenda pretty well, unbeknownst to us, the people. When you think about it, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of insane that back in 1994, we were all laughing and using this, where's the beef? Where's the beef? I used to say, where's the beef? I thought that was so funny. Where's the beef? We used that quote and thought it was just so funny, but the truth is in the joke. Not knowing that it would mean 40 years later. What that same quote would mean 40 years later. Now let's talk about Dr. FC. Then, he was director of NIAID, and none other than the year of 1984. You see, he's been director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease, NIAID, since 1984, advising 6 presidents. George W. Bush awarded him the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2008. 2008 was a key year for change as well. You forgot the housing bubble? How you forgot the Great Depression? How you forgot? Are you not paying attention? And it's very requisite to know that, he's Jesuit educated. He attended St. Dominic and Our Lady of Guadalupe Catholic School. Guadalupe Catholic School. Regis, an all-boys Jesuit high school in Manhattan, and then Holy Cross College in Worcester, Missouri, MA. Also, Jesuit ring was in Missouri. Old Doc recalls that the Jesuits and lay teachers taught us how to formulate our thoughts. There was a certain spirit of scholarship at Holy Cross, he recalls. There was a certain spirit of scholarship at Holy Cross that was not matching anything I ever experienced. Look it up, those his words. Dr. AFC. Yeah. There's a certain spirit there, all right. Spirit of evil. Let's not forget. Let's bring it to now. And don't forget the statement. During the form of a pandemic preparedness at Georgetown University back in 2017, Elsie, he said, not only will we be challenged by the ongoing global health threats such as influenza, HIV, but there's a surprise dis-ease outbreak. Look it up, pay attention. The history of the last 36 years that I've been the director of NIAID will tell the next administration that there is no doubt they will be faced with challenges their predecessors were faced with, he said. We will definitely, said with vigor, get surprised in the next few years. Did we not? Look it up. Pay attention. Right on time 3 years later, huh? Right on time. 3 years later, in the year of vision, 2020, we can see clearly, but your eyes was fogged up. Maybe you needed some bifocals. Maybe you are presbyopic. You can't see things up close, and maybe you have what's the other term? Myopia. You can't see things far away either. You can't see because you're not paying attention. And once again, the spiritual connection back to the year of 1984. And I hope, ladies and gentlemen, you've been taking notes of all the 2017's quotes as well. DNA, genetic fingerprinting, or DNA profiling was developed. Then, DNA fingerprinting called DNA profiling, all right? Genetic fingerprinting, genotyping, or identity testing, and genetics method of isolating and identifying variable elements within the base pair sequence of DNA. I can't even pronounce it, but it's a deoxyribonucleic acid. DNA! Hell, look it up yourself. This technique was developed in 1984. In 1984 by British geneticist Alex Jeffreys. Look it up. Pay attention. After he noticed that certain sequence of highly variable DNA known as many satellites, which do not contribute to the function of genes, are repeated within the genes. Jeffreys recognized that each individual has a unique pattern of many satellites. The only exceptions being multiple individuals from a single zygote, such as identical twins. On September the 10th, here we go, back to that year, 1984, geneticist Alex Jeffreys wrote 3 words, 33, Autorad, off. Autorad is spelled A-U-T-O-R-A-D, off, O-F-F. In his Red Desk diary. That's a quote from the Guardian newspaper. So what does that mean? What does Autorad means? I mean, is it short for order the graph, the final result of DNA analysis? An auto rad resembles a barcode or a leather or barcode. You know how the stripes are different leathers. A lather, Ladder, and each different DNA sample will give a different pattern on an autorad. Therefore, an autorad can be an important piece of identification evidence in a fluorescent investigation. Autorads are also sometimes known as, you got it, you smart, DNA. Pay attention, DNA fingerprints. Encyclopedia.com. Now, let's go to now, from 1984 to 2021. And what's taking place almost 40 years later, the number 40, very important number. Today, scientists preform what is known as gene editing. Gene editing. I talked about that a few videos ago. The CRISPR technology that edits our DNA to make changes, to make alterations. No big deal, right? I mean, it's just like taking a scissor and snapping and snipping out of what you don't want, right? Right? That's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, and of course, we have companies like 23andMe that appear to be helping you by giving you your own DNA report. But we have to ask the question, because we're critical thinkers. We have to ask the question: is this DNA report for your benefit or theirs? And they simply collecting your personal data for their own database. 23andMe, founded in 2006. Remember that one of the founders of 23andMe is Ann Wojcicki, Wojcicki. I butcher some names. I'll butcher up some people's last name when it's spelled with all the different numericals and letters and all that, the alphabet. But yeah, one of the founders, and she's married to Sergey Brin, Brin, who co-founded Google. Pay attention, it's so real. This stuff is real. These people are the elites. And their worth right now is 690 million, while Sergey's net worth is 105. That dropped a bomb on this. His net worth now, hers is 690 million, but his is $105 billion. The elites. Billion with a B, I said. Billion. $105 billion. Billion dollars. So, with that being said, we're going to continue. Because if you're not paying attention, it's going to go right over your head. Right over your head. And if you know, back on September the 12th, 2017, 23andMe raises another $250 million and wants to use your genetic data to make drugs. Hey, I'm just a messenger, researcher. Pay attention. See, 23andMe is on a mission to use your genetic information to conduct unparalleled personalized health research, including drug development. And it just got another $250 million jolt to help make it happen. The genetic testing firm announced Tuesday, a few Tuesdays ago, that it has raised $250 million, and a round led by investing powerhouse Segola Capital, a new investor for 23andMe. That brings the company final financing up to $491 million and reported valuation of about $1.75 billion. That's Fortunate.com. That's the information from Fortunate.com. Pay attention. Look it up. And then in 2018, 23andMe announced a partnership with GlaxoSmithKline to announce that the pharmaceutical company to use test results from 5 million customers to design new drugs. GlaxoSmithKline invested. No, they're gonna invest in new drugs. $300 million in the company. But guess what? Remember? It's all for your benefit. It's all for your benefit. Better wake up and pay attention. And just this year, the company announced they had entered into a definite agreement to merge with Sir Richard Branson's Special Purpose Acquisition Company, VG Acquisition Corp, and a $3.5 billion transaction. Well, the game is real. Pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention. All right. Okay. Remember Richard Branson? That's what I'm talking about. Billionaire, playboy, who deals with Billy. You know, Billy who ate the world gates. Yeah. And the lab-grown food is like one huge spider web mess. See, these elites are all connected and doing their part to build their new world and what they are desiring. They don't give a F about me, you, or the world. You're peasants. We're peasants. We're nothing to them. So not only do we have them altering our food's DNA to give us GMOs, but now the UK's government is on it as well. Yeah. They're going to lift the ban on gene editing and agriculture so the livestock can be engineered and boost yields. Yeah, I'm sure it always been done anyway. They just had to let the news out. There are also articles like, this title here claiming to use the CRISPR, based DNA technology, antiviral therapy could one day fall the flu. And, yeah, that too, certification of vaccine ID. And I'm sure it won't stop there. I'm sure they're going to keep going on and on. And my last point here about that, many of us are familiar with the skull and bones, also known as the Order of 322. And if not, Skull and Bones is a part of the secret society at Yale University. Yeah, look it up. Look it up. Everything I talk about on our channel, you can look it up. Remember, 322. It's also backward for 2 sets of 2, 3. There goes your 23 pairs of chromosomes are known as your nuclear DNA. See, it's all about the bloodlines. It always been about the bloodlines. Yet they're messing with this DNA and adding and taking from it. They're adding, messing up, add from it and taking from it. Playing games with us. With us. We know they have a desire to alter our DNA as well. Just as the days of Noah. But the dark one, the God of this world, wants control. And he plays to play God in every area of life. Let's go to my boy, Prince and Purple Rain. Yeah, I know this thing, this thing odd to, bring up my boy Prince. But let's check this out. Okay? Then, just in case you didn't know, Purple Rain is a song by Prince. You mean Purple Rain, Purple Rain. Woo! Boy, right there. It's the title track from 1984 album of the same name. It's claimed to be a powerful ballad, a powerful song. A song is a combination of rock, R&B, gospel, and orchestra music. Prince was a genius. Have you ever wondered why it's called Purple Rain? Have you ever wondered why it's called Purple Rain? Why? Why though? Why a lot of names Purple Rain? Is it because Prince loved purple? Is it because the color purple is royalty? Prince explained the meaning of purple rain as follows. When there's blood in the sky, red and blue equal purple. Purple rain pertains to the end of the world and being with the one you love and letting your fate/God guide you through the Purple Rain. Purple Rain, that's by Grunge. See, most of you thought it was just a love song, huh? You thought it was just a love song. Get pretty deep. It said that Purple Rain totally dominated the year of 1984. I remember. I used to be in love with that song. I used to be in love with the album 1984. I was in love with Prince, his music. After its release in June 1984, Prince Purple Rain leaped to #1 on Billboard's weekly album list at the beginning of August, and then stayed there for the rest of the year, overpowering the year's other hits and ultimately selling at least 13 million copies in the United States. Of course it would be the number 13, right? Of course it would be 13 million, right? Purple Rain would become the first official appearance of the band, The Revolution. The Revolution. Interesting choice of a name, huh? The Revolution. It's also interesting that Prince asked for the songwriter Jonathan Cain's blessing, the guy from Journey, before releasing Purple Rain, since his tune chord changes were so close to the song Faithfully. So Prince had to get the blessing from that, huh? And remember those parental advisory little stickers they used to have on the album covers? The warning stickers on music CDs and tapes back in the game? Yeah, that was partly because of Prince Purple Rain's soundtrack. Shortly after their formation in 1985, Parents Music Resource Center, PMRC, assembled a list of 15 songs with deemed unsuitable content. Particular criticism was placed on Darling Nikki. No girl named Nikki, I guess you could say she was a sex fiend, by Prince. PMRC co-founder Mary Gore, Al Gore wife, heard her 11-year-old daughter sing the lyrics, which included explicit mention of masturbation. The horror! The horror! The horror! It did. The Purple Rain film. The actress Patricia Apollonia Cantetro, was Prince's girlfriend in the film. Remember that? She was so beautiful. Apollonia is the female version of Apollo, the sun god. Ra! Let's continue. So in 2019, the film was added to the Library of Congress for the preservation in the National Film Registry for being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Publications and critics have regarded Prince's Purple Rain as one of the greatest musical films ever. Hell, as one of the greatest songs and musical films ever. Ever. Ever, ever. 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 So now, okay, Prince stated that purple rain pertains to the end of the world, letting your fate / God guide you through the purple rain, right? We know that the word speaks of the latter rain as the Holy Spirit comes or coming down. But right now, we're watching this purple rain. Yeah, Spirit too. The rainbow. Rain down on the whole world. With a rainbow being used as well. And don't forget, the prince is also known for changing his name into a symbol. He's calling it a love symbol, which was mashup of a gender symbols for man and woman. Go back and look at it. The Mars male, the Venus female symbols intertwined together, which is very symbolic of today. This whole trans movement. They also want to remove all genders altogether. I mean, it's real. Wake up and pay attention. Crack in LA. I can go there. The opioid epidemic in a formal Mikia. Then crack, oh man, was a cheap version of cocaine. First showed up in LA. Guess when? In 1984. And spread to major cities across America. Crack fiends, like zombies. It only took a few years to become full-blown epidemic. That's when the prisons began to blow up in the United States. 1984, when crack hit. In 1973, quote unquote, the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration was created to enforce federal drug laws, okay? Then a decade later, crack appeared, spreading addiction and violence at epidemic levels. Today, the DNA's biggest challenge is a dramatic change in organized crime. It's come from the quote from the DEA museum page. Look it up. Pay attention. It's not really a secret. Many understand that the CIA has been funneling drugs into the poor United States neighborhoods for years. Ain't no secret about that. We all know. Most are pretty aware of the whole opium poppy producing countries like Afghanistan that America has such great interest in. Whoa! Now, well, is it all connected today? New doctors are giving it out like candy under a different name. Everyone has heard of the opiate crisis, and sadly across the United States, the U.S. drug overdose is now the leading cause of accidental death. It all coming around? Are you paying attention? And many of us also understand that these pharmaceuticals can carry a demonic spirit with them as well. The words pharmacy and pharmaceutical means the use of medicine, drugs, or spells. That's what it means. It does get interesting when you start looking into the Hippocratic oath, the oath of the physicians, what they had to swear to. It's been revised though. But take a look at the first line of the classic version. I swear by Apollo physician and Asclepius, Asclepius, and Hygienia, and Panacea, and all the gods and goddesses, making them my witness, that I will fulfill according to my ability and judgment this oath and this covenant. Wow. Obviously, I mean, wow. Wow. Obviously, I'm not saying that, doctors are bad. I'm really not. It's just this is his story. However, you should always use cars for pharmaceuticals because some of them do alter your mind and can allow certain crazy dark spirits in. And that's not a joke. Back in 2013, it was studies showing that 70% of Americans take some type of prescription drug. There's 70%, which is 7 out of 10 people. People, think about that. Pay attention. In those days, we need to be sober-minded. Wow. Ghostbusters came out in 1984 as well, the movie Ghostbusters. The Destroyer came out in 1984 and CERN. And I brought that up because today was taking place CERN. They're trying to break through the veil as well. Like in Ghostbusters with the machine, they tried to break through. They had how they found the ghost, to get rid of the ghost. Many have claimed to see ghosts while working on site. There are countless information out there on CERN, C-E-R-N. And don't forget Shiva, S-H-I-V-A. There is a 2-meter, 6 by 6 foot, 2 meter, 6 by 6, tall statue of an Indian deity, Lord Shiva, that stands a short distance from the main building. Shiva is known as the Destroyer, and they have some satanic rituals performed on site. Those tunnels, satanic rituals on site that's performed on the site of those tunnel openings and such. We know there is heavy spiritual presence at CERN. It's also interesting to note that in 1984, CERN, C-E-R-N, Laboratory of Physicians, was awarded the first Nobel Prize. That was in 1984. Everything is not what you think it is. Everything is not what you think it is. You have to pay attention. I can go on and on and on. Do you guys remember when Miss America lost her crown? Vanessa Williams? Remember? That was in 1984. So you must look into the symbolism with your third eye. See, back then, Miss America lost much of its cultural cachet in recent years, but it was a beauty competition back then, especially in 1984. It was very important. And it was a huge deal, people. And one of the biggest moments came in July 1984. July, L-I-E. When Miss America winner, Vanessa Williams. Do you remember? Vanessa Williams. And the first African-American winner in his story of the pageant was stripped of her crown with nude photos she posted for previously were published in Penthouse. Oh, I did see them. They were beautiful. Now, when you think about it, let's go now, 2021, thinking of what a crown represents. I mean, basically it comes down to power, glory, and morality, royalty, and sovereignty. And it means power. And what a crown means, power. And this is how the world once looked at America. She was so beautiful to the world and stood so proudly with her crowns of glory. However, is she American losing her crown? I think most of us would agree with witnessing that the crown is definitely slipping off. It's sideways now like a pimp. I think, we're witnessing that it is also sliding off. American is changing. It's changing. There have been some change. The crown is sliding off of America. And we're not don't see that crown anymore of us. People don't look at America like that anymore. The crowns have definitely come off America. And what I want you to see is that you have to pay attention. There's so much that's going on today that you have to pay attention. I can go on and on. I'm going through my notes. I can get on and on and on about what's going on. You have to pay attention. You have to pay attention to what's going on. 1984, you thought it was just a number. But 1984 has witnessed and showed us a lot of things about us now. Us now. Right now. It was a big deal back then. I'm going back to how America now is slipping from glory. We're slipping from glory. And, and like I said earlier, I reiterate, most of us will agree. America is supposed to be a place that was the defender of freedom, speech, religion, and conscience. Now she's just butt-ass naked and she'll be ashamed of herself. She butt-ass naked for the whole world to see, showing everything. Our individual freedoms, our self-reliance is slipping away. It's such a fast-paced people. Because the elites, the 1%, the elites, their blueprint calls for global citizenship for the New World Order. Using the common good line for all to come together to protect and save Mother Earth. So America needs to be broken down in order for it to come around for the common good. And it needs to be broken down in order to bring about this broken down for the common good desire. And no surprise that everything is falling apart, yet falling into place for the wicked. And also on the side note, since the Statue of Liberty is an icon of America to the world, how many movies have shown the Statue of Liberty land and ice, waves crushing over her, on her head, lying in the streets. They're always used a symbol, a global truth to show that climate change is going to take down every nation, including America. Would the Statue of Liberty have any connect to the year of 1984 though? Yes. Indubitably yes. In August of 1984, it was the Statue of Liberty's 100th anniversary. Remember, in 1984, 100 years earlier, the Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of New York State laid the cornerstone of the pedestal and impressive Masonic ceremony on August the 5th. Also in 1984, renovations by the National Park Service included replacement of this torch. The new beacon is composed of unbroken copper and was covered using 24-karat gold leaf. Yeah. To represent the Statue of Liberty. To represent the New World Order. See, originally, the designer wanted the whole statue covered in gold, but they couldn't. They couldn't really afford it. It seemed like the same spirit behind the golden statue that King Inspirational made, huh? Is it not linking up now? Are you not paying attention? Pay attention. 1984. Told it all. And if you see through your critical thinking, your critical eye, you'll be able to put some things together. I can go on. I can go on and on. I'm going to stop. But here's the deal. It's going to end in 2024. Let's wrap it up. In the year of 2024, we have completed 40 years since 1984. Remember the number 40, very significant number. Noah, it rained 40 days and 40 nights. Jesus was on the fasting for 40 days. It take a woman 40 weeks being pregnant to have a baby. Moses was in the wilderness for 40 years. David ruled Jerusalem for 40 years. So did his son Solomon. 40. It's the number 40. They said Prophet Muhammad at the age of 40, the angel Gabriel come to him and said, Iqra, which in Arabic means to read. It's 40 years. They say a man is the strongest from 16 to about 27. He said his physical strongest from 27, 28, 29 until about 38. He's finding 38, 39. He's finding himself. At the age 40, he should be well-rounded. All facets of himself and his purpose. So the year of 2024 would be 40 years completed since 1984. Is there anything happening in 2024 that we may know of? Yeah, it is. It's coming. It's coming. The Great American Solar Eclipse X. In the year 2024, there will be another solar eclipse that will be forming an X. An X right over the United States on the region known as Illinois, known as Little Egypt, on April the 8th. Interesting enough, it'll be 7 years since August 21st, 2017, the Great American Solar Eclipse that was first made the first line of the X. And 33 days later, September the 23rd, wonder in the sky, it appeared. Of all places, Little Egypt makes you think of the story of Exodus, don't it? The Father poured out his wrath on the Pharaoh and the Christ type and his people. Remember when the Israelites were released, it took them 40 years to be allowed into the promised land. 40. It's almost time for the Most High's judgment. Again, the wrath to be poured out once again. It'll be soon enough. But it's looking like this could be the dark one's counterfeit to the Most High's 40 years, in my opinion. And 40. We also know there was a 40-year elapsed from the beginning of the Messiah's ministry. The antitype of Jonah. Antitype of Jonah. His, to me, the destruction of Jerusalem in 70 AD. So would this be the 40 years until the destruction of the old world? We have the whale. Speaking of the whale, speaking of 40 and Jonah, that's another interesting thing to take the note of. Did you know that in recent years we all had at least 4 people get swallowed by a whale in the mouth of that as well? Get swallowed by a whale, be in the mouth, that is, in as recent as June 13, 2021, remember Jonah was to go to the city of Nineveh and preach for them to repent for their sins. But think about this, they worship Dagon, the fish god. They believe that Dagon, what is his name? Dagon, D-A-G-O-N, was the father of Baal, B-A-A-L. In Hebrew, Dag, D-A-G, means fish. And he was represented, fish represented hell, I should say. You know, in Hebrew, Dag means fish and was represented by a half man, half fish creature. Mermaid, you know, like a mermaid. Yet, that's where your mermaids and all that stuff, you know, come from. So it's interesting that the Most High will send them Jonah to the Nivites by whale and give them a 40-day warning. A 40-day warning. Yet 40 days and Nineveh will be overthrown, the way he was saying. Then go Google a priest of Dagon, D-A-G-O-N, and then Google M-I-T-R-E, hat of the Catholic bishop. Do you see where this can be another sign? Pay attention. Pay attention. I'm going to come to a close. If you made it this far in this long video, hit the subscribe button. See, life as depicted in George Orwell's 1984 could come to pass in 2024. If lawmakers don't protect the public against artificial intelligence, AI. Microsoft president has warned. So what will 2024 bring after this 40-year period? It's not looking pretty good. It's not looking good at all. We know that. Another thing that comes to mind is that you must stay conscious. You must stay conscious. Must stay conscious of what's around you. You must stay conscious. And remember, you are more powerful than you know. And they fear that one day you will discover that, your power. Why do you think they sedate you with fluorine, toxic chemicals, GMOs, and now mRNAs? To modify, call, and control you. Why does this mainstream media use constant, repetitive propaganda to use fear porn to brainwash you people? Why? You must pay attention. They use your celebrities to influence you, and predictive programming, and television, and entertainment to condition you. Why do you think they do that? You must pay attention. Why do you think they employ experts in occult magic, behavioral psychology? Why do you think they do that? Problem, reactive, solution, them type of psyops against you. Why do you think they use that against you? Why do they own hundreds of patented technology to psychologically affect you? Why do they spend billions to keep you ignorant to all of that and more? You know why? Because they need you. They need you. They need our collective complacency to maintain and manifest the new, updated, artificial reality they've been secretly planning for years. If you made it this far in our video, I appreciate you. If you made it this far, I appreciate you to listen to me and listen to what I have did my research on. I want you to do your research on as well. And remember, I love me. I do. I love me. In return, I love you. And when you love you, you love me in return. Hit the subscribe button. Do your research. Pay attention. 1984. It's fiction that has become reality. I'm sorry for the long video. I'm sorry we made it this far. I had to get it out. I was going to do 2 or 3, but I don't owe no more apologies to you because I love you. I love you. I'm David. I'm the fly. Optician. I love you. I love you in truth. Peace.